April 1945. The infantrymen of Charlie Company moved through the broken town like ghosts in the dust. They'd seen the horrors. The camps were only miles away now, but nothing prepared them for the library. It wasn't a grand building, but inside it was a snowstorm of paper, torn from their shelves by concussive blasts, their pages floating in the still air or carpeting the floor in a sad white mulch. Private Eli, a literature major from Indiana in what felt like another lifetime, stood in the doorway, his M1 hanging forgotten at his side. The smell of damp paper and plaster dust filled his nose. It felt like walking into a tomb for stories. "Move out, Eli. Nothing here," Sergeant Miller grunted, stepping over a pile of what was once a leather-bound encyclopedia set. But then Eli saw the old man. He was kneeling in the center of the main room, a slight, gray figure in a worn tweed jacket, carefully picking up individual pages. The old man didn't startle. He finished smoothing a page, then slowly raised his hands, which were smudged with ink and dirt. His eyes, magnified by thick glasses, were not fearful, just profoundly tired. "He's no soldier, Sarge," Eli said softly. "He's a German. Ich bin der Bibliothekar. I am the librarian." Eli took a step closer. On the floor around the old man were his sad little books. He saw a page of Goethe's Faust next to a recipe for potato soup, a diagram of the periodic table atop a torn children's fairy tale. He wasn't sorting by title or author. He was simply rescuing fragments, giving them a new, nonsensical order. Why? Eli heard himself ask in his clumsy schoolboy German. "Wareham? They're all mixed up. It's chaos." The librarian looked at him, then at the destroyed world around them. He picked up 2 random pages. One was a dense philosophical text in German. The other was a brightly colored illustration from Alice in Wonderland, showing the Mad Hatter. "Früher," the old man said. "Before, the books told their own stories. Separate. One idea here, one story there. Ordnung. Order." He carefully placed the philosophy page and the Mad Hatter picture together under a piece of board. "Jetzt, now, the only story is how the pieces land together. This is the new story. The only one left to tell." The weight was negligible. The content was gibberish. A treatise on Kant arguing with a talking rabbit. Sergeant Miller spat. "It's trash, Eli. Let's go." But Eli couldn't drop it. He looked from the librarian's peaceful, resigned face to the madness of paper around him. He was performing its autopsy and creating a new, bizarre testament from the fragments. It was an act of absolute futility and absolute defiance. Eli slung his rifle. He crouched, picked up a stray page, a sailing chart of the Baltic Sea, and placed it on the old man's pile. Then he took from his own pack his last D-ration chocolate bar, hard as a brick, and laid it gently on top of the chart. "For die Geschichte," Eli said, "for the story." The librarian nodded once, a deep understanding passing between them that needed no more words. Outside, the war moved on. But as Charlie Company filed away, Eli carried the 1000th book in his free hand. It was the most illogical thing he'd ever done. It made no tactical sense. It held no military value. Yet, it felt like the first sane thing he'd held in months. It wasn't a book anymore. It was a question. A question about what order means after you've seen the world taken apart, and what kind of man picks up the pieces, even if he can only make new, strange, and broken things with them. He was fighting a war to end madness. This old man in the dust was teaching him how to live with the pieces afterward.